If God exists, why does belief depend so heavily on where you were born? And if God does not exist, why has humanity never been able to let the idea go? Bertrand Russell didn't shout his answer. He didn't mock belief. He didn't try to replace religion with arrogance. Instead, he asked something far more dangerous. What if we simply don't know? Tonight, we explore Bertrand Russell's quiet, rational, and deeply unsettling take on one of humanity's oldest questions. Who was Bertrand Russell? Bertrand Russell was not a militant atheist. He didn't claim certainty. He didn't pretend to have cosmic answers. He was a philosopher, mathematician, and logician, someone trained to distrust emotional certainty and demand clarity. And his position on God was not, God doesn't exist. It was more uncomfortable than that. Russell said, I do not believe in God, but I also do not claim to know. That distinction matters. Russell's core position, the foundation. Russell described himself as an agnostic atheist, meaning he did not believe in God, but he rejected absolute certainty. For Russell, belief required evidence, and disbelief also required humility. His approach wasn't emotional, it was methodological. He asked one question again and again. What reason do we actually have for believing this? Argument 1. The first cause problem. One of the most common arguments for God is this. Everything has a cause. The universe exists. Therefore, God caused the universe. Russell responded calmly. If everything must have a cause, then what caused God? And if God doesn't need a cause, why does the universe? Russell wasn't being clever. He was exposing an inconsistency. You cannot argue that everything needs a cause and then exempt God without explanation. For Russell, this wasn't proof against God. It was proof that the argument itself was flawed. Argument 2. Natural law replaced divine explanation. Russell lived at a time when science was rapidly expanding. Events once explained by God, thunder, disease, planetary motion, now had natural explanations. Russell observed a pattern. God often fills gaps in human knowledge. As knowledge expands, the gaps shrink. This led him to a troubling question. Is God a truth or a placeholder for what we don't yet understand? Russell warned against God of the gaps thinking, because gaps eventually close. Argument 3. The moral argument under pressure. Many claim morality proves God exists. Russell asked something deceptively simple. Is something good because God commands it, or does God command it because it is good? If good exists independently, then morality does not require God. If good depends only on command, then morality becomes arbitrary. Russell didn't deny morality. He denied that morality required divinity. He believed ethics evolved from empathy, social cooperation, rational consequences, not fear of punishment. Argument 4. The problem of suffering. Russell struggled deeply with suffering, not intellectually, morally. He asked, if God is all-powerful and all-good, why unnecessary suffering? Not human cruelty, not moral failure, but earthquakes, childhood disease, natural disasters. Russell found no satisfying answer, not because answers didn't exist, but because none were convincing enough. Russell's most powerful idea, the teapot. Russell once proposed a thought experiment. Imagine someone claims there is a tiny teapot orbiting the sun, too small to detect, impossible to disprove. Would you believe it? Russell's point was simple. The burden of proof lies with the claim, not the skeptic. Disbelief does not require disproof, and faith is not evidence. Russell was not anti-religion. This is where many misunderstand him. Russell did not hate religious people. He admired kindness wherever it appeared. What he opposed was blind certainty dogma enforced by fear belief without examination. He feared that unquestioned belief, religious or secular, leads to cruelty justified as righteousness. What Russell believed instead. Russell believed meaning was human-made, not meaningless, chosen. He believed Life has value because it is fragile. Morality matters because we suffer. Love matters because it is finite. He saw honesty as courage, facing uncertainty without illusions. The emotional cost of Russell's view. Russell acknowledged something few atheists admit. Doubt is uncomfortable. Religion offers certainty. Agnosticism offers honesty. Russell chose honesty, even when it was colder. But he believed maturity required it. Why Russell still matters today. Today, belief and disbelief are louder, but not deeper. Russell reminds us, you can doubt without arrogance. You can believe without certainty. You can question without hostility. He invites us to think, not react. A question Russell leaves us with. Russell didn't ask, does God exist? He asked, what kind of evidence should a thinking mind accept? And perhaps that's the real question. Whether God exists or not, certainty has never been humanity's strength. Curiosity has. Russell didn't give us answers. He gave us responsibility. To think carefully, to doubt honestly, to live ethically, even without cosmic guarantees. If this perspective challenged you, good. Growth begins with discomfort. If you value thinking over shouting, clarity over certainty, wisdom over ideology, subscribe to WealthWise, because the strongest minds aren't loud, they're precise.